In 1827, the canal was extended 2 miles south from the Trenchard Sluice to the present entrance at Turf Lock, giving access to craft of 400 tons. This was shortly followed by the development of the City Basin in 1830. The City Basin was built to enable vessels to load and unload regardless of whether the River Exe was in flood. It gave access to deeper vessels that could not reach the city quay via the shallower river, thereby giving back to the city of Exeter a working port. The warehouses and yards expanded in the area and industry grew. However, it wasn't long before the railways came to Exeter in 1841, and that brought a major change in the way goods were transported. This period is the height of the Industrial Revolution. Here in Exeter we became among the first in the country to pioneer the production of gas and electricity. And so, as a consequence of this, it came about that the main industry in Exeter was to become the Willys Iron Foundry and their factories. The entrance of the canal from the river at King's Sluice was the point at which it branched into the entrance to the basin. In the 20th century, trade continued with petrol, oil, timber, coal, cement and even potatoes passing through the port. However, the decline of the woolen industry meant that exports dropped significantly. Throughout its history, Exeter has stood alone as a manufacturing city, providing gas and electricity for its industry. So naturally, Haven Banks became the place to have the gasworks and power station. In 1887, Henry Massingham canvassed local businesses on the creation of an electricity generating company for Exeter. He again set up a demonstration with overhead wires on high poles in the High Street, Queen Street and St Sibyl's. The result was the formation of the Exeter Electric Light Company. The Haven Road Generating Station. It was the need for more power for the planned introduction of the electric tram system that spelt the end for the Rockfield Works Generating Station. In 1899, the city looked into the possibility of generating electricity with a hydroelectric scheme at Trews Weir. However, fears that such an installation would affect the canal meant that the plans were shelved. Finally, it was agreed that a generating station at the head of the canal basin at Haven Banks would be built. A site 150 feet square was acquired in 1901 for £1,000 and a contract awarded to W. Brearley of Exeter for the building. Constructed of brick, the building contained a boiler house, engine room and offices, along with an annex for the economizers, feed pumps and the 155-foot chimney at one end. The Haven Banks Gasworks. A rival company, the Exeter Commercial Gas, Light and Coke Company, had also been established on Haven Banks by King's Sluice in 1836. One of the new gasworks customers was the Welcome Inn, adjacent to the works on the canal, which was supplied in perpetuity with free gas. A good promotion for the young enterprise. However, after only 3 years, the company was taken over by its rival from Exe Island on the 1st of May 1839. After the Exe Island plant was closed, Haven Banks was rebuilt in 1878 and in 1903 a tramway was installed to carry coal into the works from the basin. The works were again extended in 1912. In the 1920s it was extended yet again to cater for the fast developing Exeter and to supply Willys and other businesses. Although much has changed around the basin in its nearly 200-year history, we can still see evidence of the railway that served the docks, with the broad gauge turntable that has been preserved. When the Great Western Railway first came to Exeter in 1844, the gauge of the track was 7 feet and a quarter inch. But as time went by, Isambard Kingdom's plans had to change, and the country adopted what became the standard gauge of 4 foot 8.5 inch. As I go round the area of the basin today, I see remnants of a bygone era still evident today. The old crane on the dockside, the warehouses that held precious goods, the building that was the generating station, now used for sporting activities such as wall climbing. And whilst there are boatyards and workshops, there is a variety of activities going on and are predominantly directed towards leisure activities, housing, cafes and restaurants. Well, this brings me to the conclusion of my project on the Exeter Ship Canal. I've tried to give a thoroughly overall picture of its history and what is happening in the present. I can foresee its use carrying on as it is for many years to come. The making of this documentary has spanned over nearly 2 years. It has been really good fun, and I have learnt a great many things about Exeter and its history in the process. I do hope it will inspire others to do something similar in their own locality. And finally, thanks to all of those people who have encouraged me along the way.